Welcome to Accreditation Made Easy, the podcast that takes the stress out of accreditation. I'm your host, Areaka Jewell, and in each episode, we'll deliver actionable tips, expert insights, and practical strategies to help streamline the process, and of course, make your work life a little easier. Now, whether you're tackling policies, preparing for assessments, or just looking for ways to stay ahead, we've got you covered. Let's simplify accreditation, one step at a time. Well, hello, and welcome back to another episode of Accreditation Made Easy. This is the podcast for accreditation managers, agency leaders, and team members preparing for assessments with confidence. I am your host, Areaka Jewell, and in today's episode, I want to talk about a part of the accreditation process that often gets overlooked. And yet it's one of the most unpredictable yet revealing pieces of the entire accreditation process: assessor interviews. All right, why do interviews matter? Let's be honest. Documentation, the proofs of compliance, your policies, that's one thing. But when assessors walk through the door and they start asking your staff how things are done, it's a different level of accountability. Interviews aren't just about checking off a standard. They're about hearing in real time how well your people understand the policies, apply the procedures, and reflect your agency's commitment to the accreditation process. So let's break down, what are these interviews? Who conducts the interviews? Typically, it's 1 to 2 assessors based on the area of expertise or their chapter assignments, and they can be done on a one-on-one and sometimes panel-style interview. Now, who gets interviewed? Well, it's going to be your line staff, your supervisors, think civilian personnel, command staff, training officers, even accreditation managers might get interviewed. And the big question is, what are they going to be interviewed about? Well, the assessors are looking for, again, that practical understanding of the standards. How are the policies apply? And what is the staff's familiarity with the agency's processes? Now, where can you find information about what they're going to ask? Well, here in Florida, typically, one of the proofs of compliance section is going to say interview. But essentially, any standard could be interviewed on. But some of them that maybe don't require documentation, the proof of compliance is when the assessor actually goes out and interviews the staff. That's where they verify compliance. So I would say start with your standards manual and just go through there, look at what's required, and start thinking of who might be interviewed for it and what might some of the questions be. Now, different assessors interview different ways. Some use a direct, just ask a straight question, expect an answer back. Some might be more conversational and say something like, walk me through this process. And others might go with a scenario-based style, but it's entirely up to the assessors. Now, when do they happen and where do these interviews happen? Usually, at least my experience on assessments, I want to get into the files. I want to read the agency's policies and see the proofs of compliance first, so I have an idea of how they do things. So then when I ask different staff members the question, I kind of have an idea of what the answer should be. The location, it could be in that staff member's office space, it could be in the assessor's workspace, it could be during a static display. The least likely way, but I have seen it, is virtually, either through a video conference or maybe on the phone. That might have been more prevalent during COVID, but again, if the person isn't available in person when the assessors are there, they might pick up the phone or do like a Zoom call. So tips, just tell your staff, be real. Don't be rehearsed. Just know your role. That's pretty much what the assessors are going to expect you to say. And of course, if they don't know the answer, it's okay to say that you don't know the answer, but that you know where to find it. You know where to look it up and that you will get back to them. So now that we've talked about the different things that go into interviews, one of the challenges that I hear most often is that staff just don't feel confident. They don't feel ready. They're unsure about what the assessors will ask, how much detail is expected, and how to respond if they don't know the answer. And we just talked about that. Again, supervisors may not realize which questions actually are relevant to their role. And let's flip the script. There's new assessors out there who may not know what they are supposed to be asking. So that's why I created something new, something to help close that gap. And I'm calling it the Accreditation Readiness Coach. It's a practice tool that I developed, and it's to help agency staff and assessors better prepare for the accreditation interviews. It's powered by ChatGPT. It's a custom GPT, and I tailored it specifically for law enforcement, corrections, pretrial and probation, and inspectors general accreditation in Florida. And here's what it can do. It can role play. I mean, realistically, role play an interview. Literally, you could turn on your microphone and start talking to it, and it will respond back to you. So it's going to simulate what assessors might ask during a visit. It's going to group those questions based upon your role and your discipline. And again, I've trained it to ask those questions up front. So it's not asking a law enforcement person corrections questions or IG questions. It's going to ask you up front. And it can even give you feedback. If you ask for feedback on how you can improve your answers, it's going to give it to you. And of course, it's going to help new assessors in knowing what to ask and maybe how people would typically respond and develop their interview style and structure. Right now, the Accreditation Readiness Coach is available inside ChatGPT, which requires a paid subscription. Now, I want to point something out. I developed it with an awareness of CJIS related concerns. It does not store user data, it doesn't collect personal information, or it doesn't need access to any agency's systems. All interactions are private to the user, designed for safe, self-directed preparation. Okay, now with that being said, I am developing a free web-based version that will not require ChatGPT account, and it will be coming out soon. Now, if your agency is anti-AI, anti-ChatGPT, you're not even allowed to get on it, I still want to be able to help you out. So just shoot me an email. All my contact information is at the bottom of this episode. Shoot me an email and just say, hey, can you help me with some questions that assessors might ask? And I will send it to you in a PDF that you can download and redistribute. I want this to be available for everybody, so just reach out. Now, to go along with today's episode, as always, I have a freebie handout that you can download, and it's going to go over the things that we talked about: who assessors interview, what kinds of questions to expect, how interviews are conducted, direct, conversational, scenario-based, and tips for preparing yourself and your team. And of course, it's going to have a link and a QR code to get to the Accreditation Readiness Coach. So, final thoughts? Accreditation is more than just the documentation. It's about the people. It's about the relationships and the interactions and how people perform. People perform better when they've had a chance to practice in a setting that's realistic and pressure-free. So if you're looking to build confidence in your staff or prepare for your next assessment, I invite you to try the Accreditation Readiness Coach for yourself. Try it out. Let me know what you think. So that's all I have for you today. Thanks again for listening, and remember, preparation doesn't start the week before your assessment. It starts today. So until next time, stay ready, stay focused, and let's keep making accreditation easy, one step at a time.